Okay, now we're back.
Okay, all right,
So just, Mr. Mayor, I was just asking Ray for the distinction, because we're going from county residential to city residential. Everyone wants to keep speaking about residential, how does that impact anything? If it's just going from R to R, what's the difference? And I was asking Ray on behalf of the city or the applicant to make the distinction, if there is one, just so we can have it on the record. Is there actually a difference between the county and city residential? And if there is, it's important to let the public know that is.
Yes, the county has a less density than the city does. The city has a higher density. Which is different.
That's where I have my question. So,
and it's in the city limits, it's in the city limits, so does it, why does the county care? It doesn't impact the county. All this building of 30-something units and that acreage, for the record, would it benefit the counties
I
Avalon?
can't answer on behalf of the county commissioners. I would encourage you all to have another workshop. You talk to Ray about having these dialogues. I would love for you 10 to get together again and talk about it. I can't answer their question for them. But I think, well, the reason I'm up here on behalf of the county, which I have time, and it's not quasi judicial, so I think I'm allowed to ask these questions. I'm allowed to have it examined on record. I'm allowed to ask you commissioners questions, and your attorney can give you advice, but this is your expert. He's providing you all testimony, and the public and anybody that's for or against can come up and ask questions. I'm the one to ask the questions today on behalf of the county commission, and I'd like to know what the difference between the city's residential and the county is. You have an ordinance going in for a land use change before you even have the property as part of the city. So yesterday we objected it, and we said, we put the cart before the horse. Don't you need to annex it, go through the process, have your 30 days, send an ordinance to Tallahassee. If it all goes through and it's a valid ordinance and a valid voluntary annexation, the next thing you do, and I heard the testimony yesterday that this happens all the time, it does, unless there's opposition to it. And clearly there's opposition to it from the county. So you adopt a voluntary annexation.
Everybody.
Yeah.
You adopt a voluntary annexation. You know the county's opposed to it. We've already stated it. We'll have a resolution again next week when they bring this up for the first time. And then after you have a voluntary annexation and after it's deemed legal and after the court reviews it and it comes back and the city did everything right, then and only then do you say, okay, now is the appropriate time to change the zoning. But we're not doing that. We're here today. We're going to shotgun it like we did in January and February. We're going to get this thing through and we're going to do it. I applaud Charles and Chester. Thank you. Thank you for coming up and asking some very valid questions and commit questions to the commissioners that then Commissioner Langston said, well, why don't we have some more people here next month? That is a huge issue. We keep talking about residential, county versus city. Let's drill it down. Let's get past the residential. Let's all get to the brass tacks. We're talking about the change of density. And Mayor, respectfully, that's the answer to your question. If it's in the city limits, then why does the county care? The county cares, and they passionately cared for all the generation current commissioners and prior ones because of the difference in density. They can't stop this city with regards to density once you have property in your jurisdiction. But they are very passionate and very concerned about if it's a part of a county property and it's limited density in an industrial zone, that it's going to be taken away from them. That's why we're having this dialogue today. That's why the court reporters today. That's why we're in court today. That's why the county and city don't see eye to eye. First, it needs to be done lawfully. After it's done lawfully, then you need to go to the next thing and do the land use change. But that's not happening. Today, we're having an ordinance on a property that's not even within the city limits. Again, what is the rush? Why is there such an urgency to change this property before there's public content? And so, Ray, that's the only question I had for you.
We're having public.
What do you have?
yeah, a question for Attorney Novak on that. We're talking about density. We're talking about, you're saying that the density is really low in the county versus the city on there. What's the density numbers in the county?
Jim, respectfully, I'm a county attorney. This is your
I'm
public
asking-
hearing. I'm telling you right now, Jim, I'm not
Yes,
counties that I'm not, Jim,
because
Jim, this is my opportunity to speak. And Mayor, I don't want to speak
they
over.
afforded me
attorney.
the opportunity to talk. If you
That's
don't want to
fine.
answer, that's fine. But
That's
let me
fine, but I'm not
let me
gonna
ask
answer
the
questions
Okay,
for you,
let me
Jim.
ask it for you for the public.
Please.
What is the density in the county? He's refused to answer. And number two, how do we have 100 and something units next door, right on the city street, in the county, over 100 units? How many acres is that next door? Down the street, we have acres, small acreage with numerous, that's more than what you're elaborating to the community, that there's only 2 and 3 units per acre. How is that possible in the county? That's all I have to say.
Mr. Mayor, procedurally, question for the attorney. Is this a quasi judicial hearing?
No.
It is not. So nobody's been sworn in? I believe I heard that. Okay. And has the commissioners all disclosed all communications with anybody outside this meeting prior to today? Have you asked that question? I'm just asking you,
Yes,
sir.
me.
Okay. Is it entered on the record, Clint? Because I missed it.
Any of you discussed anything with the operator or any of their representatives?
Election, okay?
No.
On the record.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
So with regards to the personal suits comment that came up before, Commissioner Hoffman, respectfully, I don't believe it ever has been done before, and I thank you for bringing that up. You addressed it, so I just wanted to respond to that in this setting. And I thank you for all answering that, because you all indicated you've never spoken to anybody about this application prior to today, outside of your staff, is incredibly helpful to the county to know that. We don't have that information on the last one, and that is the reason, the sole purpose of that, so we can find out what discussions and dialogue so the public has an opportunity to have it. Charles and Chester asked some very good questions, and I look forward to August 5th and coming back. The last thing I'll end with, we opposed yesterday the planning board recommending this land use change because it is way premature. We are gonna, to the commissioner's point, I do fully anticipate there being opposition to this annexation. If there is, then I think the legality of that needs to be examined by the court between the city and county before you get down the road and do a land use change. And again, I ask again, what is the urgency and what is the rush to get this done prior to having this proper annexation done? Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? Again, I think it's very important on Ray Career to mention the process that we're following is allowed by 163, where you have an annexation, everything is contingent on that annexation, it all comes in order. And that's done all over the state of Florida. The second thing is, it's 2.5 acres, it's 15 units an acre. But realistically, at 2.5 acres, you're not building 30 over 30 units on 2.5 acres. You can't do it. And again, the other part of this is it's 12 platted subdivision lots. This consists of 12 platted lots. And, density wise, I don't know what the owner's talked about building, housing to house some of her employees, other employees, because she knows there's an issue with the overall, as we know, affordable housing inside the city. I cannot commit her to, what she's actually gonna build, but we'll bring her in the next meeting and she can talk about it. But I think, realistically, you've got to look, the county has lower density because the county don't have water and sewer in places. And there's multiple engineering studies out there. You have to have 4 units an acre to make water and sewer work. And that's why cities typically have utilities that have higher densities. They're more urbanized areas. That's why the densities are so different between the county and the city. That's all over. That's any county and city in the state of Florida. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Statewide,
Say what? Yes, I've worked every,
municipality, county, you're going to see municipality always density.
yes, that is correct.
Because the county is the extraterritorial area of where the municipalities are, which is more land not developed. So, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else?
Mr. Pro Tem Mayor, what the comments toward that since Ray came up.
Real quick.
It is not unusual throughout the state of Florida for a county and a city to go through and do it simultaneously as you're all proposing to do. The outlier, the exception, is when there's an opposition or there's a need for a dialogue. So this happens many times in Gulf County over its history, where you have an annexation, you have to come in, you do a land use change, and when everyone's on the same page, there's no problem with it doing simultaneous. This is different, and I think you all realize that. There's a need for a dialogue and a discussion more than just 2 public hearings. And so that's why the county opposes it.
All right, I'm gonna call for the vote. Got a motion, second, all in favor? Aye. And Mayor Pro Tem votes no. Motion passes 4-1.
All right.
Ordinance number 619, an ordinance amending the comprehensive. Ordinance 619. Make sure we're on the right one. Ordinance amending the comprehensive plan future land use map of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida, by and through procedures required for small scale map amendments pursuant to authority under state statutes, section 163.3187, specifically changing parcel ID number 04571-000R from Gulf County residential to high density residential R3, providing for amendment of the zoning map of the city of Port St. Joe to designate said parcel to residential R3, and providing for repeal of any conflicting ordinance, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right, moving right along. Next item is ordinance 620 Gulf Coast State College,
And this is for a public hearing, a first reading, it's a rezoning
a
request.
rezoning request.
Jim might be able to-
Exactly.
It
So,
did go before the PDRB yesterday. You did get a favorable 6-0 recommendation from the PDRB to rezone the property. The property as it sits now, it has part of it's commercial and part of it's residential. It needs to all be public. They're going to be doing expansion, to my understanding, some classrooms. You may have somebody here represent today, I think, to actually speak on it for you.
yes,
But it
please
would be
come forward. Yeah, state your name and sign in for the record.
I'm Alex Schroth with North Star Engineering, 1021 Grace Avenue, Panama City. I filled out the rezoning application on behalf of the college. It just like Mr. Anderson said, it's currently zoned commercial and residential. We're looking to change that to public use, so that way we can go ahead and add an additional classroom out there.
I think the college is just going out there doing great things. The nursing program's just off the charts. They need extra room. It's great for our surrounding community, and especially with a hospital here. We're getting nursing students and med students now working out of our small hospital, and it's been a great experience for them. And I will say an eye-opening experience for some of them, seeing what our little hospital has to offer when they think we're just a little Band-Aid station over here. So we're doing great. So I definitely would vote to allow this.
Yeah, I'm also, for this, but can you elaborate on anything that,
It's
in the
still
future?
in preliminary design at the moment. It's looking to be an additional 2 to 3 classrooms, and 11,000 square feet of building, just one additional building at the moment.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, there's a motion, there's a second to approve ordinance 620 for our first reading.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion from the audience, any public comment? Any public comment? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. Sir?
Ordinance number 620, an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida, specifically changing the zoning designation of parcel ID number 03040-150R from commercial C1 and residential R1 to public use, and providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All righty, good deal. Now, we got one more for you, Clint. Ordinance 621, dealing with smoke shops, public hearing and second reading and adoption.
As you know, when we were here at our last meeting, when we had the first reading, Commissioner Hoffman had some concerns about one section of the ordinance, and that has been basically revised to allow that if for more than 30 days, they cease operations, then they will have they'll lose their grandfather plausibility and have to revert out to the industrial. However, in the event that that is something that is basically out of their control, with unforeseen circumstances and events beyond their control of the business, they would not, and they could not have prevented the consequences, they would be allowed to stay there. So the closure was not of their own fault, beyond their control and others.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, everybody understands, what we're trying to do here, limit the, influx of these, operations. So, I'll entertain a motion to approve, second reading and adoption.
So,
Mr. Hoffman made the motion, there's a second. Second by Mr. Langston. Any further discussion on the board? Anybody in the public want to talk about smoke shops? Yea or nay? All right, all in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0.
Ordinance number 621, an ordinance of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida, prohibiting smoke shops, smoking lounges, tobacco shops, CBD shops, and hemp food establishments from every zoning district in the city except the industrial district, prohibiting those same establishments from being within a certain distance from the church or school, amending the uses permitted under land development regulations, section 3.11, industrial district, and amending land development regulations, section 3.20, non-conforming uses, providing for repeal of all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing for effective date. That's all I have today.
Very good. Jim, can you and/or Miss Charlotte make sure the existing smoke shops get a copy of this, ordinance that we just passed? So they'll have, if something happens, they won't be surprised that they're gonna have to move.
Well, there's one other update. Commissioner Hoffman at the end of the last meeting also brought up the fact of, because of our new city complex, he wanted me to alert the present leasee of the property.
Right.
That it's not in the next, it's not eminent, I mean, it is eminent, but it's not gonna be for a while, but the process is moving and he's gonna eventually have to move out there. I didn't put it in writing, but I did specifically speak to him in person. And I told him I would go ahead and follow that up with a letter. He has no problems with it. He understands it's gonna be more than several months, but, we're fine. He has no problem.
Can you get, or will you get a copy of our engineer's report today? And that timeline is somewhat on there and you could give to him, just give him some idea.
I'd be happy to, 'cause I told him I would follow up with in writing.
And all that's contingent on the final architectural plans anyway, so he's good for a good long time.
Yeah, I told him it wasn't on the immediate horizon, but it was coming eventually.
And funding too.
Going now,
And that's officially it for me.
okay? All righty, whole business, Jim.
Yes, sir. First time the city project, if you're referring to page 128 and 129.
Do you have any, updates, comments, or what have you on any of these that weren't touched by the engineer?
The downtown water lines, are getting close. We have 4 tie-ins that we're trying to finalize. The work last night to do a couple of them. So I think we have, we got 3 left, the tie-ins, major tie-ins.
3.
And then from there, we should have everything tied in for the downtown water lines. So we've got 3 major tie-ins.
When will all that be tested?
They've been tested. Testing is ongoing as we got these in as far as bacteriological, pressure testing and all that's done.
Good.
The people that are being tied in that are affected, yes, they will be under a boil winter notice until we get back T samples back on those. So there will be some affected business downtown. But as far as pressure testing online, like Mr. Grant said, all that's been done. We just got to tie these people physically in and get good back to us.
I got a couple of things. The business owner on, I believe it's 4th Street in the alley. We all got the email. He was still having water issues.
Yeah.
Mr. Reed.
We, the alley got paved 2 weeks ago, so we've been over there. We're looking to try to add in another outlet down past there. There's an issue that we think we may be able to alleviate some of the problems from the parking lot on there, so probably within the next week or 2.
Actually,
This week. We're gonna try to pop in another inlet to try to alleviate some of those problems. Yeah, so we're working towards trying to.
And 2, I seen the Madison, the 98 fix on the right of ways. Looked like they were putting sod down, finishing that up. So that's gonna help safety concerns. Good deal. Appreciate that. So,
Anybody else got city project question? Okay.
Yeah, a couple questions. Jim, I saw on the, update y'all had here for the roof for Washington Gym. Looks like we received the engineer's report and have we already gone out for bid?
We're working on the bid specs now to clear it out.
Timeline of when that will go.
Probably looking at 45 to 60 days to hopefully have you some bids in front of you to take a look at it.
It's the same thing, I guess.
We made some minor repairs. We've had a company out of Tallahassee come down, so we've slowed it down tremendously on there. But we're trying to look at it from
The engineer task order for the Centennial Building.
haven't seen anything back on that yet. I'll check it out.
Any other questions? All right, let's move on.
The next item we have, we discussed, the previous meeting about a four-way stop consideration. The ones the board asked to bring back was Garrison and 16th, Garrison and 10th, Avenue A and Battle Street. And also consider a three-way, stop at Avenue A and Broad Street.
All right, discussion on that previous topic.
I spoke to the chief, I've also spoken to him, and I just got some heartburn, on throwing in these four-way stops. It's gonna slow down traffic, and after speaking to the chief, we don't have any crash data on Garrison for sure, that he was aware of, or that he found, but as long as we have cars on the road, we're gonna have speeders. But I just know we're gonna catch flack from the public, for, throwing these things in. And I suspect we will pull them back up in the very near future. But I'd like to hear from everybody else though.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I know that in years past, that's exactly what happened. I think we all know that we're having growth at Fort St. Joe. We have, you have like we just referenced, 100 and something units going in right here. That's gonna be more traffic coming up and down that road that's gonna have kids, and we're all concerned about kids getting around our town safely and whatnot. Anything we can do to minimize the speeding, to make it a safer community within the city limits, especially where it's residential. This is all really residential, is what, from people that have reached out to me, it's what my constituents want to see.
As far as, coming off 71 is like they Daytona 500. So for the kids that we have, up and down on the scooters and bicycles and the people and adults that's on the bicycles, I think it's important that we slow that traffic down coming through that. That's why I feel like the four-way stop would be sufficient. If anybody complains about it, we can always go back and change. But for now, I think it's a good idea that we slow this traffic down, and it will deter the big trucks from coming through wide open, like it's a highway to get to the dump, So that's one of the reasons that I think it'll be a good idea.
And serving on this board now for a little over 2 years, I assure you, you're going to have somebody that's never happy with the decision you've made. But it's our job as representatives of our constituents to represent what the majority of the people within our community want to see. And you just can't be influenced by a small percentage that maybe see it there.
So you believe the majority want the stop?
I do. Everybody in my neighborhood does.
All right, any other comments?
Mayor, just a statement.
Okay.
Due to the traffic that we now have because of the, voting was adopted, now they have not. He's right, Avenue A is becoming another highway almost. Somewhere down the line from the bridge to First Street, that traffic has increased so much until people are actually using the North Side Avenue A particularly, and probably D sometime too, to alter their traffic. And so when they do that, they alter the speed. So there's a long run from 98 to 71, and they take advantage of it. But the traffic from the bridge to First Street is increasing. You can't even get out on the road at times. So what they do, they take the shortcut. Something needs to be looked at in that area.
Yep.
Did I hand you all a copy of this?
What's this
It's
concern?
back on the four-way stop.
Okay.
Or y'all,
Or y'all gonna vote on this, right?
Well, we haven't made a motion to do it yet, but I feel like we will.
Listen to Mr. Kerrigan's response. I respect your response. You being a homeowner there, I'm actually a homeowner one road over. And what I'm seeing, the influx of traffic, I could sit in my recliner when I kind of take a break and look out my window, and every now and then I get a glance of a car coming by my road. Car I've never seen before, you know, there's a lot of people in town. So I just took that picture, actually, that's in front of the post office right down here. And I drive that road as well as a lot of people in St. Joe, and all people, that just says, and y'all probably already know this without me telling you, because y'all drive it too. It actually says no through trucks. He talked about through trucks, and it says slow. Above it, it says strictly enforced. Okay, we'll get that in a minute. And the speed limit 30. Okay, and how many people see that, I don't know. But when you put, that's been a major through road for as long as I can remember, that and Long Avenue. When you put a stop sign at 10th and 16th, you got 4 stop signs from there to where we at right here. Okay, and what's that gonna do? It's gonna make everybody come around to my road then to get to school, because the little Melissa, she's texting on the phone, she's already 10 minutes late. The next thing you know, they're not gonna take them 4 stop signs, they coming down my road. So until you put a stop sign every 100 yards every road, you're not gonna slow anybody down. You're gonna make matters worse. Because when you hit that first one, you're gonna speed up to make up the time on the next thing you know, you 4 down later and you're already 5 minutes behind. So to get off of that, I'll finish with this. I was gonna start with this. But Long and 10th, this was done several years ago, and for some reason, that 3-way stop has been took down on Long Avenue. There's a reason it was took down. Appreciate it.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the, recommendations of, 4-way stops and the 3-way stops listed in the agenda. Commissioner Langston made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Carey. Any more discussion from the board? Anybody from the public that hadn't already spoken on the issue? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? One opposition, so motion passed 4-1. We'll give it a try. See what happens.
Next time we have mayors, we have the, very proud of our girls here in town that are moving on, I believe, on the world in Louisiana. You got a request in front of you, Dave, from the Port St. Joe Dixie Softball League donation request on Station Road.
Well, I think we're opening up. I'm proud of them, like I am on everybody that represents the city. We donate to the softball league as well as the baseball folks on a daily basis by what we do on 10th Street, improving and giving them somewhere. We try to give them somewhere better to play, which I think we've done. I just think it's a bad precedent for us to, because once we do, we open the door to the Cumberland group and other groups in the city that rightly deserve it, but it's a volunteer organization, and there are a lot of people that probably, well, like Commissioner Kerrigan says, there's always somebody gonna be against anything we do. So right or wrong, we just try to do what we think is best for the city. So that's all I'll say.
Have we donated teams, traveling teams in the past? I know we've had teams come here and be recognized. I'm almost positive I remember us donating funds to. Yeah. Okay.
I just don't, you know, I can jog my memory on that, but that's just me.
To me, it's an extension of the program that we, like the mayor said, virtually pay for. It's an extension of that. And this is, you know, in my mind, this is a little bit different request. It's not like it's a group at the Panama City Beach weekend tournament. This is, the way it was explained to me is the Dixie Youth, which I don't like Dixie Youth. Y'all know that. I wish it was Little League or something else. But this is a group of girls that are actually traveling to the World Series, correct?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, I mean, that, could you imagine if it was publicized Dixie Youth, it'd be probably televised, but, I think that's the least we could do is support, a local team in advancing to the World Series. We probably should, at some point, have staff write up a recommendation of policy that distinguishes the very things that we're discussing. You know, is it a group that people just pay and has really no connection to the city or the county? But I know that the request is from local people, local kids who were probably a big, huge part of 10th Street ball field and will continue to be probably our superstars playing at high school and maybe middle school, have another team one day. I don't know. But I don't think it's out of the realm. So I'm going to support it.
What do you want to donate?
I'd be fine with $500 donation. Yeah.
I think that, when it comes to the kids and accomplishing something like this, it's good to invest in them, you know. They've been a part, 14 and up, I mean, they're part of our community, kids are part of our community, they work hard, and they need some help. Now, if we're doing it, I would like to, implement a set amount of funds that we give, so that we won't be judged that, oh, you're giving them this, but you gave them that, you know, so.
Yeah.
Policy, whatever stuff you come up with, staff comes up with, let's make a set amount that we're gonna, give these kids. So I totally agree with it. I think, our community, they're going to represent Fort St. Joe. So let's go get it.
Yeah, I agree with the policy as well. It's a good idea.
Yeah, we may decide $250 is what we're gonna donate for like a in-state, you know, state level competition. And then if you advance outside the state to a bigger tournament, you know, we'd make it $500 or something.
What about the Odyssey of the Mind?
Well, being that my wife coached here for about 12 years,
That's why.
but I will say it was her last year. So, I'm sure that team and the parents and the kids appreciate all the support that they were given from the community. I know there's people that seem to be on the other side of the table in most, probably 9 out of 10 discussions, but stepped up and, supported Odyssey of the Mind. I thank you, Attorney Novak, for that, and I'll leave it at that.
I'm just use that for an example, no negative reflection.
No, I know, there's gonna be people asking.
There's gonna be a lot of
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, that's why if we're going to have a policy that says, you know,
We may have to actually have a budgetary item and put the X number of dollars and then you can divide it 20 ways or 2 ways.
yeah, I'm fine with
Be
that.
done from that. Yeah, I know Cheney Toon, I know her husband. Cheney is the daughter of over a 20-year employee of the city, Miss Lynn Todd. That's Miss Lynn's daughter, and her husband plays golf with us occasionally. He's usually too good for us, so he doesn't come very much. But yeah, I know both. They're good people. So we'll entertain a motion for this request in the amount of, whoever wants to make a motion,
I'll make the motion that we donate $500 to the Dixie Softball League, per their request to advance to, the World Series. And part of that motion is to direct staff to write up a policy at our next meeting to review and tweet or approve on the request for donation.
Okay, and motion made by Commissioner Hoffman, seconded by Commissioner Lowry. Any more discussion from the board? Anybody from the, oh, you got?
Yeah, just, hey, Mike, what fund was that?
Yeah, that would be an unbudgeted item that would have to come out of, because we got a lot right here. The easiest way would be to create a line item for this type of thing, for what we do. That's why it's before you, like we have with the senior citizens or the Humane Society, we have a line item. If you got a policy, unless you're gonna name every single group, I don't know how to manage everybody. You might wanna think about $1, say, for this year's budget. Hey, we're gonna put 10, 15.
Public.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you. I too wanted to congratulate the girls. I know a bunch of the parents and the girls, and they've done tremendous this year. So to the Commissioner's motion, I wanted to just on behalf of the firm, match the city's contribution and put that towards the girls' trip as well. Your comment earlier about the only people that make money are the lawyers.
I said, you'll make a lot.
I know that, but just for 15 years, proudly representing Gulf County, we've done everything we can, not just the city, but across the board to always avoid litigation and lawsuits. Ultimately, when the commission makes that decision, it's with a heavy heart and we all contribute, but I do want to contribute and congratulate the girls too and match that.
We'll let them know. You don't, so yeah, I appreciate that. Does everybody else wants to match that?
Yeah, just for coming up and matching it. They're matching it.
Yeah, you come up.
Mayor, is there a conversation on the table about reproducing or coming back up with a recreational program that can handle things like that?
That's a long conversation. We're gonna try to get through this one right now and then maybe later.
I'm just saying, if we talk about it, bring it up, maybe it's something that we can put those teams under for a year-round thing in case they go to events like that. But right now, we don't talk about a recreational program that can put kids under so that the city can support it. And I think that would be a good conversation for our community. We're very small, but I don't hear us having a recreational program that can bring our kids to the table for things like this.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna say congratulations too to the girls. I watched a lot of that go on. Mr. Hoffman, you made the motion for $500. I'm gonna donate 1,000 to actually these same class of girls to get them a quality complex at the Field of Dreams. I'll be the first one to double that. And I've done it before, Mr. Mayor. I've already asked to donate to the Field of Dreams. And y'all look over in outer space when I do. But anyway, let's let the girls of this community know that they should be aware, looking at what they have, that when are y'all gonna abide by getting them a quality sports complex? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any other comments? I'll just say I've heard some good arguments. I've heard a couple of them have changed their mind. So we'll call for a vote. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. All right, next item.
Yes, sir. The next two items deal with property, and we've looked at a couple of different options for parking spaces within the downtown area. The first one is the Durham property proposal. We did get a proposal a few weeks back that we've looked at a few times by this board. We have asked for an appraisal. Mayor Brissette and I did follow up. We haven't heard from you yet on there, so we've got an appraisal coming to see what the price tag is on that. And one of the conversations, Commissioner Kerrigan had brought up that there might be a lot also for sale down the street. I did contact them with this help, getting the phone number to contact them. I did put that in there too. They are looking to sell that piece of property, so you would sell that for $500,000 there. So a couple of different options for it. We're trying to look and see how many parking spots we could potentially put on that. We're not sure. But that is an option too for it.
Yeah, that property is 120 wide by 90 deep. and a nice piece of property, but I've asked Jim to get our engineer to give us an idea of how many spaces we can get there so we can kind of calculate how much we're having to spend per parking spot, and is it really worth, what they're asking for what we need? So, yes, they'll get that to us whenever.
As soon as I get it, I'll pass it to you. I did. Josh.
Kim, Mr. Mayor, do you mind us moving forward, but going ahead and getting an appraisal on it? I mean, I like the idea of that parking.
Well, it's not been the first time we've been offered that property, so yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, we were offered the whole lot, if I remember right, for 500,000.
We were.
And we drug our feet, and then another business adjoining bought part of the lot. So now we're faced with buying less lots.
It's the same price.
Or the same price, yeah, so you're gonna just drag our feet, somebody else will buy it.
My thoughts are, in the future, I mean, right now, yeah, you can throw some parking on it, but in the future, you can get a bond and elevate a parking staff and charge for it. I mean,
Yeah, but you gotta have it.
yeah, we gotta have it.
Or talking is cheap, but, so
So talking costs us a lot of money.
it does. And then people complain they don't have anywhere to park.
Yeah.
And we've got money that we can allocate for
So what do
these
you think
things.
about too? Like, we just mentioned about it can sell. We don't know if it's gonna sell, somebody else has made an offer or not, but is that something you want to do? Trying to get a contract on contingent upon an appraisal?
And this seller is interested in selling it virtually for what he pays for it, right?
They told me Mr. had it looked all the time.
To,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll go ahead and get an appraisal. I don't think you need a motion for that. It's inside your bid threshold and so forth. So let's get that going, and we're waiting on the one for the Durham proposal. Okay, you reach out to them again and see when we might be getting that one. And I haven't talked to Mr. Durham in several weeks, so I don't know what his ideas are now that we know we can't use those 2 retention ponds, for him. So I don't know if that deal's still on the table.
Did he make a proposal, move the retention pond to our own property over there?
He didn't, remember, he made that proposal for us to dig one on our property, and we put, we said, no, we can't do that. So he's looking at some other options.
yes, one other thing, yes, somebody could pick up this property before we add the occasional. You don't want to put it on the contract? Contingent upon appraisal?
No, not without finding out how many spots we can get on it.
Okay, yeah,
That's the scary part. We can get 40 spots on a $500,000 piece of property. Do we go for that, or can't we
Well,
get
it's,
that?
it's something we don't have, and you've got the option in the future of, that's all where I'm at.
I know that it's needed. It's just ridiculous how bad it is downtown with the parking. So, let's move forward.
We'll have to pave it.
Quick question. I know we've been waiting quite a while for the appraisal to come back because it's the way, the type of property that it is.
Commercial take longer to get an appraisal.
That particular property off of Third and Williams, I think that's something we could get a very quick appraisal at, isn't it?
I can ask, I'll see how quick I can get it.
Just get up present.
See how fast we can get it, and at the same time, let's go ahead and look at parking study.
Yes, we've already
Compare the 2 different lots. I mean, obviously, we know where we're at. We need to secure space.
We'll be in contact with each other with the engineers and the appraisal, so we'll see if we can get this thing done.
Yeah, if you think it needs to, you guys think we need to do it contingent on the appraisal.
Yeah, that's all I was
You
saying.
can make a motion to do it, but have
That's
to make
the
a
only thing
motion
else.
for that, so it's up to the board. I just kind of hesitate a little bit, ties to $500,000 piece of property that really elevating or not, it's not gonna really work, even for,
We need to study. We need to do everything quick.
it scares me. But yeah, if we can get an appraisal within, before our next meeting, maybe, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Check on that.
Does anything preclude a city from, selling property to the general public once they've bought it? If they, it's not tied to grants or any of that. Because I'm thinking as a real estate person,
We could sell.
you turn around and sell it.
Most definitely.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So,
We've done it before.
yeah, that would make me feel a lot more comfortable. Got somebody that just bought it recently and paid virtually the same amount we're paying for it. The property is not going to go down in value. So,
Make a motion.
I mean, I don't know how you could do it under, I wouldn't call it an emergency, situation or a dire situation, because we do have other parking, on the St. Joe lease property, but,
They could use that property at any time.
Yeah, I agree.
Else, and then that's gone.
Yeah.
We need something that we own.
be putting a contingency on the number of lots or the value of the land.
probably an appraisal. It meets or.
Yeah, you have to have a dollar amount to say that if it comes in at an appraisal less than asking price,
Right.
then, you have to revisit it.
The number of spots, like I said, we don't have that number.
I'm concerned with that.
I did some research online as far as parking and how much room you need to get in between. Depending on how you can layer it, it changes a lot, but it looks like it could be anywhere between 45 and 70 spaces. So, which is,
And we had this data for us a few years back. I remember, God rest his soul, Bill Kennedy looked at these spots that lot would give us and presented that to us in a drawing. So,
we should be looking at,
yeah, just take out.
just go in and take out that section. We have access to that.
So, yeah. I think it's like a survey, but he put something together for us.
What's the pleasure of the board? Move on, let them get an appraisal, or you want to make a motion to make an offer on the property? All right, sound like that's what we're gonna do. Let's move on. All right, Jim, what's next time?
Yes, sir. It's that time of year again, the DR 420 preliminary millage rate for fiscal year 2025-26. The current millage for the city that's not been changed for many, many years is 3.5914. We can always come down, but you cannot go up from this point. It's a rule of thumb when you do your preliminary millage rate in there.
Based on leaving it the same, what kind of, revenue increase would that give us?
Roughly $300,000 more is what you're looking at, Mayor, based on the increase in the value, not an increase in the actual millage rate.
Okay. Using this millage rate, 300,000 of extra revenue for the city, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. I'll need a motion from someone to set millage for 25-26. Leaving it the same?
Preliminary.
Okay, yeah, because the county has first, we can't do ours.
Well, we'll actually formally adopt it later on. This is just preliminary to get it out from the tax roll so people can understand when they get their tax notices out, this is the maximum amount that.
Go ahead. That's your motion. Yes. Okay, there's a second. Second by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion from the board? Anyone from the public like to speak from the village? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. All right.
As soon as we find out when the county's dates are, then we can, if they get first picked on the hearing date, so as soon as we find out where theirs are, then we can set our dates.
Okay. All right, next item.
That's all I had, man.
Oh, no, you got
One more thing, yes, one last thing. As we talked about before, Mr. LaCour is going to be retiring, sooner than later. So we're trying to come in and help out. We tried to ask him to stay on a couple more years, but he reminds me regularly that he's getting close to retirement. So at this point in time, what I'm asking you is, at the very least, let's find somebody to come in and job shadow with Mr. LaCour so we can pass some of his knowledge on to somebody else. You know, eventually we're gonna have to replace him, but in the interim in there, if we can at least find somebody in there, and that might lead into a full-time, we don't know, but replacement for him. But at least we need some more help. The city's growing. As Mike can tell you, there's a lot of workload for these days, so I'm very appreciative of what Mike does, and I wish I could keep him another 5 years, but I don't think that.
Yeah, question.
Yes, sir.
I agree that Mike is gonna be extremely difficult to replace. Has there any thought been about maybe taking away the responsibility of payroll when it comes to personnel payroll? As I know he's heavily involved in that, and looking at utilizing an all-site company to do payroll.
We have not actually payroll, you have accounts payable, Brady actually handles your accounts payable and accounts receivable, so those are separated out. He still has to overlook some of the stuff on there, and some of the stuff comes from your city clerk, but you have an accounts payable and accounts receivable clerk to handle that.
I just know that a lot of companies, one that I work for, we have more employees than the city, but yet this is the first year that we actually went all-site for payroll, and we have been very impressed. So I think we might as well, now's the perfect time to see if it's feasible for the city.
Yep. And you know, I brought up maybe 2 months ago about the need for our assistant clerk, which we've got. Ms. Charlotte will introduce her again here in just a little bit. And of course, the assistant finance director. And that position right now is extremely important for all of his knowledge. And I think it's, when are you retiring? Officially retiring?
June 26th.
All right, we're gonna hold you to that now.
June 1st, well, no. June the 26th.
June the 26th is official, on the books retirement, but still, see, I mean, think about that. If he decides he might want to go out a month so early, that makes it even more urgent for us to advertise for assistant finance person.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Finance majors are what we're looking for. If we know anybody that has experience in that in the city of Fort St. Joe.
So, you're gonna put, job requirements and so forth, and put it out there like this week, maybe? Okay. All right, we all, you want a motion for that, or you
Yes,
just talking
it is
about
a new-
putting it as a budgetary item?
This will be a new position. That's why it's here for you today on there. We felt the urgency to do it before we got into the budget process on there. That, yes, sir, we would like your permission to add it to the new position.
And we've already seen right here, we've got a little bit more coming in from Avalor, and we can piggyback off that for that position. So I'll entertain a motion for going out for assistant finance director.
So,
Mr. Lowry made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Kerrigan. Any more discussion from the board? Anybody from the public? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0.
Thank you.
Now,
That's all I have.
that's all you got. Okay. Public work.
Mayor, one quick thing, a few months ago, the board approved, and agreed to go together with DOT on the Highway 98 resurfacing the side cross streets and side crosswalks. I'm just asking today for board permission or approval to allow Mr. Anderson to sign the agreement that's now before us. It's on page 137 from that DOT for that project.
Okay, everybody got that? Right there, maintenance agreement. I'll need a motion to approve this agreement, allow the city manager and just him hopefully to sign it. Mr. Kerrigan made the motion, is there a second?
Second, the discussion.
Second by Commissioner Hoffman for discussion, go right ahead, sir.
Well, remind me exactly what was this agreement?
This agreement actually binds us to, a few things, as far as, and some of them, I'll be honest with you, I don't quite understand. When we have DOT build those crosswalks with the brick pavers, the friction cord that's applied to that, we have to have friction tests done, I think, every 2 years. Not sure why you would have to do a friction test when you're turning into a street, but that's one of the requirements of this particular agreement. So, DOT, and I talked with the project manager from All Day and Howell, and DOT just became adamant that they want agreements for all of these, sidebar projects that they do with municipalities.
Does this have anything to do with the flashing crosswalk?
No.
Okay, that's what I was getting confused.
This is just the Second, Third, and Fourth Street. All three avenues, correct, not on 98, but the side streets.
Okay, because I was thinking it was tied to the flashing crosswalks,
No.
and I was gonna take a moment to mention there's a terrible pothole right on Highway 98 at that crosswalk.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up, because just the board's knowledge, I did have a conversation with Mr. Anderson last week, so the same Jordan Burnett, the same PM, sent me some plans where I guess we're getting half of what we asked for. They are planning on now replacing the storm pipes across 98.
Yes,
They're not upsizing, but they are replacing it.
okay.
So that is an improvement from what we have, which is the cause of the pothole you're referring to.
That was good.
So we do anything about it in the meantime?
In the meantime, that's.
Can they, will you
I'll
request
reach out
them
to Weber to see.
and tell them we need that, some asphalt or
Yes.
something put there to,
Yeah, it's gotten
it really
bad.
bad. People are swerving around, behind the car today that did it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up too, Scott. What else, John?
I think we started the motion. Did we finish it, or?
No, it's second for discussion. Your
Yeah,
second stand?
stand.
Okay, any more discussion from the board? By from the audience? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. All right, John, anything else?
That's it.
Question for John? All right, surface water plant, Larry's not here, things are going good.
Mr. Grantland is starting a project at it. Larry's shop too. We're gonna do a reuse program. We got the grant for $80,000. That's for John's staff. It's gonna come in there. We're gonna be able to reroute the water back through the plant to save on some of the water that's actually used in there, that's actually going out through the, distribution.
Okay, I think that's good, because Water Management District is worried about that little gallon or two that we release every day.
Give a little less to the wastewater treatment.
All right, Joe, you're up.
Thank you, sir. Today, my agenda item I have is approval to purchase some filters. We talked about this recently. This is a sole source vendor, so this is the only place we can get these filters. You just paid $147 for filters and some gaskets for us. It's $95,978.
You get paid.
Yes.
You did say it was not.
It is.
Okay, everybody got the, page 147. It needs to approval to buy these filters, $95,978.
So moved, sole source.
Okay, Commissioner Lowry made the motion to approve, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Langston. Any discussion from the board? Anybody from the audience? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. What else, Mr. Joe?
Thank you very much. Other than that, we've got a little update of our facility. All of our solar equipment is working. We have 4 feet of freeboard in the lagoon, and we're fully functioning and running right now.
Spray fields, the additional spray fields we're using.
It's not in service yet. The contractor installed a well for us. They have to go back and complete the well.
Any timeline on that?
No, not that I've been given from Dewberry or with them yet.
See if you can get an idea from them.
Yes, sir. I'll do that.
Thank you. All right, Finance Director, you got a lot.
Yeah, Mayor, we had some good movement on the FEMA finally, on the reimbursement on Clifford Sims. They've approved the reimbursement request and moved it, or said they would, I didn't see it today. But they said they would move it forward in the process to step 4 of 8. Typically, once it reaches that point, it's just administrative through the flow and payment. So I think they've gotten everything they need, they've approved it, and we're just waiting for them to give us a final approval to push it forward for payment. So,
Oh, yeah, I saw your email. I thought that was great, but step 4 of 8.
it's 4 of 8, but it's a long time coming, and I think we've finally gotten there. I think it's good to wrap it up for us.
Yeah, please keep me updated so I know whether to recontact our senator representative. to
Yeah, if they don't give us that
remind them.
push forward button by the end of the week, I'll certainly let you know before Friday.
Yeah, for the public's knowledge, I mean, it's roughly $1 million we've been trying to get since, we redid that after Hurricane Michael in October of 18, so you can understand why we're a little frustrated about it.
On the grants reimbursements, as we talked about, we're wrapping up the SRF water lines downtown. We've got 1.2 million in the pipeline for reimbursement that would just leave the contingency remaining on that. So we've gotten the reimbursements in process on that grant. Then we have a couple of items. We have a resolution from Centennial Bank, a resolution form to increase our limit on credit cards. Currently, the limit is 15, and we'd like to request to raise that to 25,000 on the credit card.
Yeah, I spoke to Jim a little bit about that. They've had big, large purchases and they did increase, so I'm good with that.
Most of the department heads on buying things that we approved to buy.
Day-to-day operations is what this is for, there, and it's the time for Mike to be able to keep up with these, because it's during the 30-day cycle, so then he has to make sure that the card's cleared out, and then somebody goes and goes on a trip or a class or comes back, and then the card's maxed out, and we have to wait for it to be cleared, so this will give us a little more flexibility on that.
Okay, I'll need a motion for the approved resolution from Centennial to increase our credit card limit from 15,000 to 25,000. Commissioner Kerrigan made the motion. There's a second. Second by Commissioner Lowry. Any further discussion from the audience? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0.
And then, Mayor, I believe you have an amendment number 4 to the CDBG DR grant, which changes the reimbursements from 10% increments to 5% increments, so that we can make sure we don't have a large gap in getting our reimbursement. So that's all Amendment 4 does. It reallocates the funds in the 4 buckets and then adjusts the reimbursement percentage from 10% increments to 5%.
Okay, need a motion for that CDBGDR grant, which actually impacts which grant, Jim?
This is the CDBG-DR.
Yeah,
There's actually a big one that's sewer. It affects sewer, the lift station
$9
we
million.
have, and the one that you just awarded, a couple weeks ago.
The $8 million we just awarded them.
Okay, I'll need a motion to approve that amendment. Commissioner Lowry made the motion. There's a second. Second by Commissioner Kerrigan. Any further discussion from the board? Anybody in the public? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0.
And then, Mayor, I did receive a text from Dwight who says that he got confirmation from Blue Cross Blue Shield that they agreed to the 4.7%. That's great. But that's all that I
Yeah,
have.
and it's surprising, but it's really good.
No, let me follow up on that. Then we need to we need to plan the budget meetings, right? We're almost ready with the budget. Hopefully we'll have a draft to you by the end of the week or the first of next week. And then typically in August, we've had 11 o'clock, a budget meeting right before our noon meeting. So August 5th and August 19th, 11 o'clock for the first two budget workshops.
That works for me.
Look at your calendar, we'll try to get something out to you at the end of the week there. And if we have any conflicts, let us know that we'll.
Right, the only conflict I would see for the 11 o'clock might be the CRA. Sometime we meet, the CRA, but we've had that.
They had their quarterly meeting, so
Yeah,
that's.
so I think we're okay there. Okay.
Ms. Pierce just mentioned something too, the 19th is election day, so you have a regular scheduled meeting that day too, so it's something to be thinking about, we probably need to make a decision.
We need to reschedule that meeting. We don't need to cancel it, I don't think.
So, yeah, just let us know.
I'd rather we didn't, so.
Something to think about, we can make a decision at our next meeting.
I'll be out of town.
You gonna be out of town on the 5th?
I'm in town on the 5th.
Okay, so we can make a decision on the 5th about the second meeting in August. Okay.
There you go.
Okay,
I think that's all I had, Mayor.
all right, thank you. Any, questions, Mike? All right, code enforcement, any movement on our hire?
Yes, sir, we are at the point now, we've offered a position to somebody. Yep, talking with them, trying to get it squared away, so hopefully we'll have a new code enforcement officer in place within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Full-time, part-time?
Part-time.
Part-time, okay. How many hours a week that we are allocated for that?
20 hours a week is what we do.
Okay, all right, anybody got any code questions? We'll have a lot once we get a new guy on the payroll.
About the demo, Jim. I talked to Commissioner Quinn a couple weeks ago. He was gonna check on it again. To my understanding, I thought the county approved it after you approved that there's 6 sitting out there to be demoed, but I have not seen any movement on it. So yes, there's 6 houses that are sitting waiting for demolition.
All right, police chief?
I don't have anything unless you guys have questions.
I don't, you may wanna, mention, I heard from Jim yesterday, how many cars came through here on July 3rd?
16,000.
You
That's
guys hear
just, that's coming into the city of Port St. Joe on, the LBR at Avenue A and 71, the one at St. Joe Beach, and the one at, C30 and 98. It's coming into St. Joe, 16,000. That's the most I've ever seen.
No doubt, yeah.
And that's without an airport. Can you imagine the thousands of people in a 3-month summer period that'll get off that plane and get in a car, rental car, or whatever, and drive on the same roads?
Yeah, that's fact. Okay, Ms. Pierce, would you like to introduce your new
Yes, sir.
assistant?
I've introduced Carrie Fodge to each of you. She comes to us, she has extensive work in personnel, with Missouri Department of Transportation. She's worked at Wallace College in Alabama, and we're delighted to have her. She's taken what we've given her right by the horns, gone with it, knows what needs to be done, the legalities of it. And it's a wonderful pleasure to have someone with you that can just jump on board and help us. I think she's gonna do really great for us. We're delighted to have
All
her.
right, Carrie, welcome. Glad to have you, and hope you'll stay with us for a long time.
There are no particular updates on pages 148, 149 on the grants. And several weeks ago, Commissioner Hoffman, Commissioner Lowry asked by email if either of you could help us with logic and accuracy tomorrow, or either you free at 9:30 for the Supervisor Elections Office.
I was hoping he responded with a positive firm. I will not be able to help you tomorrow. Grandchild will be at my house for 4 days starting tomorrow. And I've already been instructed, do not agree to anything outside of the living room of the house.
What is that exactly?
The logic and accuracy.
Oh,
Yep.
just test. Can you be at that EDC meeting?
Oh, I'm planning to be at EDC.
Okay, well, I'll just go do that.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
I'll be at EDC.
Thank you very much. And if it gets real rough with grandson, we will let you come on down.
I'll bring you.
I don't have anything else unless someone has questions for me.
Anybody got any questions, Ms. Charlotte?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, citizens be heard. Please come forward.
Charles Gibbs, 118 Liberty Street. And I got two questions, so I don't know if I have to sit down and come back again.
I mean, you got 3 minutes. Have at it, Carl. Let's
I
go.
can't do both of them. Okay, 3 minutes, the first one that I want to bring up, I was looking at I got here late on the last city commission. And some of them was speaking about the, DuPont fund and yes, this, Pastor Davis number, just can't think of the name right now, but anyway, my concern was that, I wanted to make sure that we understood. Now, you guys, I don't think any of you guys was on the board, maybe Mel, I don't know, 2010, were you on the board in 2010?
Yeah, I think so.
you
You were
were.
on the city board,
Yeah.
city commission.
Yeah, I think you were.
Yeah.
But my point is, that was a time when the staff and the board came up with the, reason to close the recreation department. Okay, at that point, we stopped having a recreation. Now, my thing is, like I said, we talking about DuPont, what they doing. I think the city ought to go back to the point of taking care of our own kids. This is a thing I think that's long in between. I see the shortcomings that the kids have in the community. We have no recreation in our community. And we can't expect somebody else to do what we have done for years. I'm talking about before I was a recreation director, they had 2 other ones. And then, so this was 482, they had 2 other ones. So we always had a recreation department from the city that took care of the needs of the kids in the community.
Gotcha.
We don't have that now.
No.
And only thing we're gonna do is we're getting big. We talk about the field of dreams and all that. That's a great thing. Well, how you gonna do that and don't have a recreation department? So I think that you guys need to really, really start considering, again, maybe trying to put this in our budget sometime, because like I said, I think it's a good thing. I do want to say this, I do thank DuPont because during the time when the city didn't have any means of transportation, DuPont bought churches, and I say that because the church I was a youth pastor, they bought us one. And we was able to take our constituents to get medicine, take them out and do things. So there was a great need for transportation during that time. So I appreciate that. But like I said, my concern now, like I said, I think we're gonna have to start looking. It's not workforce responsibility to take care of our children.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, and the second thing were, the alleyway over there on Bay Street, y'all talking about, the engineer spoke up about y'all was looking at the ditch, but I need a little more in depth, what ditch are you talking about? I got 2 members that's, on that street there.
Do you want to respond? I'm
I can.
not sure you understand what.
Well, I mean, right now, we're in the preliminary stages of getting some elevation shots to come up with plan drawings. To work the west side of that alley, to create some drainage swells to hopefully alleviate some of the flooding issues that are occurring back there. So we're, right now, unfortunately, just waiting for some data to come in before we start making the better decisions.
Okay, because I think the last time the meeting we was talking, at that time, you was talking about going through the residential yards.
And that's still on the table, potentially in a couple spots, to drain it towards Bay Street.
Okay, so you are looking at, potentially running some type of drainage system down the alleyway, going across the road in the ditch that you already got going to Chicken.
Off of Bay, correct, off of North Bay Street.
So we looking at having ditches on both sides of the
One
alley?
side, no, just one side will be the west side.
Okay, and then you're still gonna use, that outlet for people's yard?
Well, that would be for the alley itself, to drain the alley. So again, we're waiting on some more data before we can actually put a plan together.
Okay, so I do understand what he's talking about, so not no point, but I don't understand. I'm well understanding what I said.
Okay, good. Thanks, Charles. Anybody else? Okay, nobody else? Look, okay. Been sitting there a long time.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Terry O'Neill. Since I was not given the opportunity to complete my comments at the April 15th meeting,
What's your address, sir?
St. Joe Beach.
St. Joe Beach, okay,
I'm back to finish my thought.
okay.
I said in the April 15th meeting, I didn't come here to waste your time. I didn't come here to complain. I came here with some observations and thoughts. I don't have any interest in changing things. I moved here on purpose. The city is attempting to annex 100 acres in the county that's currently zoned industrial. I'll say it again. I believe you're being extremely short-sighted in this endeavor. To me, you're blinded by dollar signs. I would also like to say that I stand corrected. After I made my comments and left the podium at the 3-minute mark exactly, Commissioner Hoffman pointed out and stated we do not have a railroad. That is correct. There are, however, existing railroad tracks throughout the area, just down the road, as a matter of fact. In addition, Mr. Mayor, I stand corrected on my comments about previously proposed location for the LNG plant. Mr. Mayor, I apologize for not adequately researching the subject before I spoke. I'm perplexed as to why this commission does not embrace industry. And it seems to me you're relying solely on tourism and water sewer taps for economic development of the city. That's just my observation. I'll say it again. I think you're being short-sighted in this annexation attempt of 100 acres. I have listened to previous city commission meetings to discussions surrounding the Washington gym. I don't know anything about the gym. I don't know anything about the children that use it. I do know, however, that if you do not invest in developing good paying jobs and careers in this community, your children and grandchildren will not have a future in this community. And as a result, there will be no children left to enjoy the gym. It is my opinion you should reconsider and embrace industrial development in the areas set aside for it. You should work with the county to build back an operating railroad. It's also my opinion that the city and county together should embrace outside industries and should search out potential suitable industries to relocate and operate in this city and county. In closing, I'm an outsider. You don't know me. I don't know you. You don't have any obligation to listen to my thoughts. Maybe I'm just being foolish, wasting my time, watching, listening to your meetings, preparing my notes to come here and speak. I'm interested in seeing all of you and the people in this community succeed.
Go ahead, try, you're about finished, I think.
I'm interested in seeing all of you and the folks in this community succeed. I do respect all of you for taking this job very seriously and very responsibly. The future of the citizens and their children are surely depending on you.
Thank you, sir.
Sincerely, Terry O'Neill.
All right, thanks, sir.
I promise to be brief. I'm not even gonna try to talk back, because there's no need to waste my time. I got 2 questions and I'll let y'all go eat dinner. And when is this board planning to go over the H&H study that was, that has already been finished? If Mr. Gaddis talked about flooding, that might have been part of some of that, I don't know. And you may have time to, when y'all going over that with the public? Because my understanding with the grant, through the NERDA grant, which was $900,000, correct me if I'm wrong, that's part of the grant process. Y'all have to go over it with the public for your flooding, your stormwater.
Jim, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, the NERDA grant itself is on hold right now, so that has not been reported on there. The actual comp plan that was approved today talks about that, and the board just approved that, and it's being reviewed by the state.
Good, if I show the H&H study, I mean, is that tied to the NERDA grant?
There was the, you referred to the University of Florida study, is that what you're referring to?
I'm referring to the H&H study, the stormwater grant that, y'all spoke about for the last year. Actually, part of it runs right behind my neighborhood. I mean, you see the amount of rain everybody's getting, that's my truck. So the H&H study, my understanding Actually, Ms. McElroy spoke about this at the last Northwest Florida Water Management District meeting several weeks ago, and I think they kind of kicking the can back to y'all. That, my understanding, y'all are supposed to go over that with the public.
That study, that's the one that Dewberry did. And that study, we went through that study that was done out of the Atlanta office on there. And basically what they came back and found that Fort St. Joe was very, very flat. And they didn't find a lot of flooding going on in Fort St. Joe. What they found out was that, they proposed a couple, after we came and we talked to the board about a couple of proposed stormwater, a couple of different locations. They proposed two potentially on Avenue A and one down by Mr. Hoffman's house at India 20th Street. But they did not have a lot of answers in the H&H study that talked about alleviating flooding, because they said the best thing we could do is rehabilitate our pipes.
So they said newer, bigger pipes need to go underground. And that's part of,
That's what we've been working.
part of that H&H study, when they talk about bigger, newer pipes is, made me comfortable with the pipes that we put in at 10th Street ball field.
Well, actually, according to Florida statute, I have researched that myself, and I wouldn't even go there, but y'all did. Actually, y'all went around this board, the permit process, and I can't remember, actually, I've got it back in my folder, but y'all went around that permit, and Florida statute says if you go to a bigger pipe or a different size pipe, you'll have to have a permit. And y'all didn't do that. Appreciate your time.
All right, anybody else? Okey dokey, I think, I don't remember who was last time. Go to Hop, I thought though. Okay, you get the.
One thing, we brought up a couple things about DuPont. Scott, I know the last meeting you said it would be nice if maybe they could come up and maybe explain some reasons and some facts behind what they do and what their mission is and stuff. They did reach out to me, and they would like to be put on the commission to come and talk about what their mission is and how they're can answer questions.
August 19th.
That's the date that we were talking about.
That's why I'm saying, now that's the date that maybe we may have to move that. So we can maybe look into it, look at what they were talking about.
Okay. I think that would be fine. Okay, you're good? Okay. Oh, the only thing I've got is I'm gonna circle back to the county and the discussion about density and so on and so forth. And city manager brought up a pretty valid point. And I wish the county commissioners themselves take a look at what they say and what they do are different, obviously. We got a development right next door that I don't know how many acres that is. Do you, anybody? Huh? Just a few. It's 3 or 4 acres, maybe something, a little more than that.
It's not what's plotted, the whole thing.
But anyway, what I'm saying is when they allow a PUD, and the PUDs are planned unit development, and a PUD can come in and make their own, basically make their own rules. And consequently, the most recent developments on county property, which surrounds the city of Fort St. Joe, is opposite from what they're saying they're against. They're against higher density, but yet they're allowing it. And so I just, once again, I will say that I just don't understand what we want to do with voluntary annexation is going to harm the county for generations to come, as I've heard numerous times today. So anyway, that's all I've got. We had a great meeting, and of course, one of our longest ones, but we had a big agenda. Thank you all for coming and having interest and giving your comments. And with that, we'll stand adjourned.